Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my channel. I appreciate your time and efforts to be here with me, and I want to wish everybody a wonderful day and or evening, whatever time it is where you are located. And I'm hoping to deliver some enjoyable content today. And today we're gonna review some beautiful fragrances, or a couple of them, and I have a topic in mind. A topic that involves depth perception, or a perspective on things regarding quality, sillage, projection, and how we view those things and what it means to us. So let's say, for example, you go off and you enter a store, maybe Holtz or your favorite fragrance store, or maybe you're even online and you're checking out Fragrantica, and you're reviewing a perfume you like, and you're thinking about the scent. So, well, anyways, back to the store. You finally get to the store and you grab the scent and you spray it, and you put it up to your nose, and you're like, wow, that smells absolutely beautiful. And you decide you want to buy it. So you buy it and then you take off. But later on, you go and you put your nose up to your wrist again, and you smell it, and all of a sudden things have changed. It seems like the scent has evolved, or has changed to a different type of scent, and you're not quite liking it anymore. Well, you see, these molecules that the fragrances are made up of, they float into the atmosphere and they reach the olfactory receptors in your nose, in which we have hundreds of thousands of different receptors, more receptors in your nose than many other parts of the body. And that's made so we can enjoy these, we're made so we could enjoy these wonderful, delectable dishes and many different things that are to our enjoyment and satisfaction, right? So back to the scent. We're smelling our scent, and all of a sudden it's changed. And part of the reason why we don't smell the fragrance like it used to be is because the top notes have burned off. So what's happening here? Well, as we all know, fragrance enthusiasts, we know that the fragrances, the way the perfumers make them, are built on a pyramid. So they think about these things and how they put them together, and there's a lot of skill involved when they think about how to put together these compositions. It's quite a complex thing. It's this pyramid has a top, middle, and base, and that's how a thoughtfully made fragrance is created. Building according to this layered pyramid gives structure, depth, and dimension, and lets different ingredients interact with each other to give you a sophisticated and interesting scent. But depending on how the scents are, the scent molecules are, some will fade before the others. So basically, some molecules are smaller and some are bigger. So the smaller ones will fade off and disperse into the air, and will eventually evaporate, and the only thing left will be a memory in your brain, you know. And that's what we really want to do, is attach a memory to a scent, and that evokes feelings, and then an emotion, energy and motion, and that all creates an experience, right? So that's part of the reason why these scents change. But some of us don't like these shape-shifting scents. We want to be able to smell the scent, and we want to be able to enjoy that scent that we initially smelled, and to have it an hour or 2 hours later. And some other people, they like to get the sophisticated scent, and they have a tremendous amount of aromatics, of different natural ingredients that all keep building upon one another interacting with one another, and then it's like creating a symphony, like a musical symphony, and one emphasizes another, and one elevates another, and one brings forth another, and so on, and you have a composition that is sweet music to your ears, or in this case to your nose, right? So for many of us, this can be really frustrating if things change. It's like buying a pair of nice leather shoes, and then realizing at the end of the day, when you come home, that they've turned into sandals. But that's just something that I wanted to begin my topic with, is how these molecules change, what really is projection, and what it means to us in a scent, like, and really what value we place on natural perfumery, especially for us who like artisanal ouds, or I can be speaking to a person who likes niche designer items, which are mostly made up of synthetics, and I'll make a video up later about what is molecular scent olfactory fragrance. But for now, I just wanted to leave you with that note on how these molecules interact with their nose, and what happens and how they change. But today I wanted to talk about one of my favorite perfumers, and another one of my favorite fragrances, and I wanted to talk about Ensar Oud. And today we're going to be reviewing Egyptian musk, and I'll show you the bottle in a moment. And then I wanted to talk about Frederic Malle. As you know, he's a perfumer, a designer, a creative artist, and he's established a foundation, an organization in which many perfumers could come and explore their creativity, and put marvelous works of art and niche perfumery together. And so this is Musk Ravageur. I wanted to review both of these at once because they're both, in a sense, musks. And so this is a different type of musk. It's, as you can see, it's a lot more clear, and this one in here, I'll show you in a moment, is a lot darker. But just something on Ensar Oud. Ensar Oud was founded in 2004. He's quite likely one of the world's most exacting oud producers and perfume house. He himself is famous for his extravagant efforts in sourcing out the rarest, richest, and most opulent natural ingredients in the world, showing no restraint in ensuring that even the tiniest bits that go into his perfume adds a multifaceted, outwardly dimension that enriches the relationship with his fragrances. So his blind obsession with aroma and intoxicating aromas and oud oils has made him the go-to guy for all serious oud distillers and connoisseurs. Tireless collaborations with people all around the world, these micro distillers have allowed him to acquire more and more expertise, so as to gain more experience and more creativity. And basically, I've always said, when a person achieves greatness, when a person or people reach a certain level of success, it's because they all depend on one another, and in the end, we're standing on the shoulders of geniuses. All these amazing people have come together to bring about these marvelous creations, and he has done that. So that's a little bit about Ensar. And so Ensar Oud is mostly about oud, and we all know that oud comes from agarwood, the Echilaria tree found in Asia, and the resinous parts of the tree are distilled, and a lot of the type of distillations around the world produce different types of fragrances depending on where they're at. There's a lot of different things that affect the way they smell. So every ingredient Ensar uses is basically top notch. Every single drop that goes into his work uses the rarest, most sumptuous and prestigious and often exclusive oils and ingredients that give the perfume an organically and unique, multi-layered and outwardly character that can never be replicated. It's because they're natural ingredients. When you have a natural ingredient, you can always have the exact same replica. You can't repeat it in the exact same way. But there is very similar copies, as you know, every time they use the same ingredients, right? So what about value? Like, this is what I wanted to talk about. A lot of people they get a fragrance that's natural, and they say to themselves, well, they smell them and they smell their wrist, and they say to themselves, well, it doesn't quite smell strong anymore, you know, it's not worth my money, you know, so why would I pay for this? You know, the projection is not as beastly like those petrochemicals you have in your washroom. They are emitting a strong fragrance, and they kind of blow you away. But nature is quite different. Many of us value quality, purity, and closeness to the nature when it comes to our food or even our clothing. We want our choices to reflect what we value. Ensar's fragrances offer an aesthetic that's opulent, lush, satisfying in ways that only the finest natural aromatics can offer. So, since 2004, he's been the vanguard of artisanal oud and perfumery, traveling over hundreds of villages, farms, and forests all over the world to work and experiment directly with artisanal perfumers all over the world. That's a little bit about Ensar and his work and how he views his work. But making natural perfumes, what's involved? Well, making such perfumery requires not only a certain skill and, of course, the finest ingredients on earth. It requires first and foremost a certain ethos, a philosophy that the perfumer adheres to, whereby we ended up with the same smell. From Gallia of Sultan Qaboos to the Royal Qatari Gallia, and then to the SLG and the Oud Royal. Different hands in different eras all have worked with obviously comparable ingredients to produce what is essentially the same types of fragrances. So this is what he's talking about here is a similar DNA. What he's used are what his ancestors have used, and what other people have used in the past that all have been passed down their descendants, and basically are providing the same wonderful and natural amazing ingredients that you can get. So what about for ages how people use Mysore sandalwood, and how people flip it around a few times, feel it, study it, and then smell it. It's a sinking Mysore sandalwood people use. It's delectable, creamy, and it benefits people in more than one way. It's therapeutic. This is why natural ingredients sometimes are to the benefit of the wearer. It's much more than just a smell. It's an experience. It's therapeutic. Many ancient religious men use it in churches. They use the frankincense. The scent is surely a part of it, but inhaling the scent also calms the mind and purifies the thoughts and makes you feel at peace. And the world's best oud oils and finest cuts of quinam are the first and foremost used as medicine for numerous ailments, and the aroma is secondary, a side effect. The same can be said for most of what goes in today's perfumes. Well, what I mean is the same can't be said of what goes into today's perfumes. A lot of it is synthetic and is manufactured, but people have different priorities. For EO, his ethos is to give you the most delectable and elegant aromatics in a bottle. The only caveat being that elegance and monster projection do not belong in the same sentence. They're antithesis of each other. So what does this mean? It's two things that have opposing reactions, or mean opposing things. So usually the example is a skunk is a prime example. A skunk comes around, and what do you got? You got an odor, right? But it's not just any odor. This is a odor that repels you from a distance. That's projection. Usually projection, strong projection, is to repel, and it's usually not very pleasant, and it's something that we don't want around. Like that, if something's rotting in the fridge, it will project. It will project so bad that you'll just run and want to throw it out. Okay. Yet for most folks, the perfume is defined by, judged by, ranked by, and appraised on the basis of the thing called projection, which is the strange thing. If you live in a neighborhood lined with jasmine or honeysuckle or any of the world's most beautiful smelling flowers, you know that you don't always smell them. I have a garden near my house, and there's cherry blossoms, and I usually go work out there. There's some steps, and I go up, run the steps, down the steps, run the steps, down the steps. Sometimes, I sit down on the bench to drink some water, and all of a sudden I smell this sweet essence and fragrance that comes by, and it is carried by the wind of the sweet cherry blossoms. And I look over and I see the beauty of the pink flowers and the white flowers, and it all adds to the beauty, and it attaches a strong emotion to my experience. It's just so wonderful, right? But my point here is that there are times when you walk past them and you smell them and they're pleasant, and it's like whiffs of heaven that come and go, right? So let's say, for example, somebody comes near you and they say, "Hey, you smell wonderful." It's just amazing, and you think, "Well, I haven't smelled that for hours on my skin, but they smell it." So this is a condition called nose blindness, right? Because our nose gets used to what it's around, and our mind, our perception changes a bit, and our conscious mind focuses on other things. If scent was the primary thing on our mind all the time, it would be overwhelming. It's like if our memories were perfect. What if you were to remember that you turned your doorknob before you left work every minute of the day? Wouldn't that just drive you crazy? Well, that's kind of like what the brain does with the memory of olfactory perception. It lets go of it at times, and then it brings it back so you can enjoy a pleasant experience, and you could continue to enjoy that fond memory. So, but why are these such revered scents, monster scents, so famous? Why do people like them so much? Why are they so appealing? Well, it's mostly because at first what the people experience, but really the synthetics in it don't reflect the quality of what it really is. That you can tell a difference if you receive a fake diamond and a real diamond. The fake diamond looks kind of nice, but the real diamond is absolutely beautiful. It's multifaceted. The depth and the perception of what you see and how it reflects light is something marvelous. It's something that can't compare, and you know that it's been found deep within the earth and created by hundreds of thousands of pounds of pressure throughout hundreds of years, that has developed a marvelous gem that then was cut and created skillfully and carefully by an artisan. For aficionados of olfaction, it's always about the scent. What does it to you? How it makes you feel, instead of how you hope it will make others feel about you. There are climate, altitude, air density, humidity, your chemistry, location, diet, mood, time, and hundreds of other factors that interact with these smells. Summer nights, cool winter afternoons, and sandy shores, and pine-lined lakes all contribute, beautify, and enhance and interact with these scents themselves, as with effects they may have, and the memories they imprint. So this is one of the ways the scent affects your brain and how we interpret things. However, these other synthetic scents, they're kind of like that garbage waste that is accumulating in our oceans, and it eventually is difficult to get rid of that just cannot be broken down. So this is why people grumble and complain, because they're not getting the same thing from what they do from their designer scents when they smell an artisanal wood. But it requires an aficionado and basically a seasoned nose to be able to detect the difference in molecules of different fragrances, and to be able to appreciate and treasure them. Eventually, a perfume aficionado would be able to determine what patchouli is, or labdamen is, or vetiver is, and he'll be able to pinpoint them, and he'll be able to say, it's like having a meal. He can say, oh, I can taste the potatoes, those potatoes are great, or oh, I can taste that tomato with that little bit of basil or a little bit of salt on top, is excellent, and add asparagus, whatever. My point. My point is that for the aficionado, natural and artisanal perfumery is much more than just something to get attention for. It's something to enjoy, relish, and to really have as an integral part of your life that gives your life meaning and purpose. When the lush aroma of vintage Ensar sandalwood, the exquisite beauty of Thai rose, the healing scent of frankincense, the layers upon layers of single source wood oil, the evanescent magic of narcissus, or the nighttime reveal of jasmine get reduced to this thing called monster projection, what are you supposed to do? So what Ensar is talking about here is that in the next part is that scents really need a carrier, and they need to develop. They need to work. They basically work together. They need to develop. They need to be able to create the experience they do by coming together harmoniously, and in doing so, there are certain scents that carry one another or uplift one another, like I was saying. Theoretically, some of these are meant to carry other scents. It says jasmine like a magic carpet, fly them across the street or on the concert hall to be smelled by everyone. But a full spectrum aromatics don't like to be jerked around. They're heavy and dense, packed with flavor, and can't just be whisked and thrown around. Just take for example oud or vetiver. The chemistry are molecularly dense, 100 plus distinct components in each one of these. How do you expect them all to be sucked up and projected intact by a magical chemical? See, that's why companies strip these fragrances down to their bones and leave them only to isolate. These are easier to carry and easier to project. These notes that project are mostly projectors themselves. They're not the notes you actually want to smell. It's very easy for a person to create a perfume that will blast your neighbor's nose off and linger for the next week. Anybody can do that. But Ensar got into artisanal perfumery for something else. He wanted to create purpose and meaning and significance in all his in all his works of art. Well, scent has a funny way of working with memory in that you don't remember the scent itself, but rather you're living the experience. Moments while experience that scent are important to us, and that's what we value. Moments of existence recorded in a smell. As one poet said, "O death in life, the days that are no more." What these people bemoan are their own treasured days and moments which were written in spritzes coming out a certain type of bottle, and now that bottle is no more because of the label. Looks different, or it doesn't come in leather or handwritten sticker, and people get upset. But if you compare a life lived with one unlived, as Ensar says, as a rule, the life you've lived will be dearer to you than the one you didn't. That's why your street is the best street to have grown up on, and your own bed is the best in the world, and grandma's food tastes better than anything. So that's what I wanted to talk about in regards to aromatics, the way the nature of the aromatic is and how they differ from synthetic fragrances. So, but though we ask yourself, why is it that when it comes to sensory experiences, the quality of the experience is of utmost and not the volume? When you go to a 5-star restaurant, we don't look at the size of the platter and want to see if we can get more and for a lower amount of price. We look at the ingredients and the quality, and even if it's a smaller amount, we cherish even those minute differences. So this is the fact of life. Walk past the jasmine blossoms or honeysuckle all you want. The ecstasy of the experience lasts only moments. Visit a rose garden. Your bliss is only as long as you're inhaling it directly from a rosebud, not a second longer. I find that ultimate beauty is inversely related to the longevity of the experience. The greater, the more sublime something is, the more delicate, subtle, soft, and understated it is, and therefore fleeting. This is why the most exalted scent of all, quinam, only lasts for as long as you keep the low temperature electric heater right under your nostrils and inhale it, not a second longer or an inch farther. Crank up the heat to fill the room with it and you'll lose the quinam experience altogether. What you end up is a vulgar aroma of smoke and charred wood. Yes, it is true that a skunk is also natural and it can last for months. But then look at the scent and what it's like in and of itself, how it ranks on the chic and debonair scale, and the reason it was created, namely to repel, not to attract. Elegance and projection are negatively correlated. As a rule, the cruder something is, the louder the projection and sillage. That's why the most delicate notes are top notes, and they're the first to fade off the skin. If beauty was in patchouli and in labdanum, they would be the top notes. but they wouldn't be the base notes. Even with oud, which is a base note, overall the most soul-stirring phase of the aroma is within the first minute or two. An oud is often judged by the first couple of seconds on skin, not the way it smells 8 hours later. Which oud smells better an hour in than it did the first 5 minutes or two? Unless you're talking about a highly unnatural modification, human-induced, and crime committed against that oud by turning it into a slab of rotten cheese through lactic microbial fermentation. Would you rather smell oud sultani in the first few minutes, or the development of it 4 hours later? So the delicate notes are the most fleeting. So getting down to the bottom of this, and I'd like to now get into the Egyptian musk, and I want to thank you for the attention to that. That was quite long. It comes in this box right here. It's a velvet box, and it's by the Orison collection of Ensar oud. The release here is unknown. The scent is spicy, oriental, projection and longevity are above average, and it says it's still available for purchase, but I couldn't find it. Anyways, this is what it looks like. And this is the bottle right here. And there's something inside there. I do believe it's a musk pod. Wow. No, so this is artisanal oud. It's absolutely stunning. This is so beautiful. Now, I don't know if it's because I had an expectation of what this would smell like. The person who sold this to me said it smelled gourmand, and it was coffee, and he's absolutely right. The ingredients in this are quite complex. There's quite a few ingredients, and what I find is that when I first sprayed it, I find it smells like an espresso, like a strong espresso with deep chocolate. I think it's absolutely beautiful, and I just wanted to look up the notes quickly. So I could give you an exact description of the notes and what they have in here. Apologize. So we have top notes are yuzu, pink pepper, carrot seed, and ginger. The heart notes are narcissus, jasmine, tuberose, and cedarwood. The base notes are Indonesian oud, Mysore sandalwood, Timor sandalwood, Tibetan deer musk, bourbon vetiver, sandalwood, castoreum, and patchouli. So I could definitely smell the pink pepper and the ginger at the start, and because I've worn this before, I can consistently smell the cedarwood, because I love cedarwood. And then in the end, once it's by the end of the night or the end of the day, I can definitely smell the sandalwood. It's like laying on a bed of sandalwood, just relaxing there, and the patchouli, and the oud, just all of them playing with each other, having a dance, one throwing the ball to one another, like back and forth, just doing that back and forth. And as you study each note one at a time, then you get to understand what it's like, and you start to really enjoy and put just pick out the individual notes, and actually find delight in each and every one of them. I find this is a scent that most likely will be better in cooler weather. Gourmand scent. I love gourmand scents. It's chocolatey, it's coffee, it's woody, and oh, the projection on this. Talking about everything we talked about today with projection and stuff. Well, it's wonderful. It's great. I can smell it on my skin all day. It's one of those scents that just don't disappear on you, like some do, like we've talked about, right? But this one just stays on your skin, and it's consistently there, just reminding you that it's there. It doesn't get irritating. It's pleasant. It's definitely a beast for me. Like I said, we talked about before, skin chemistry makes a difference. Where you spray it on the skin, whether it interacts with the oils, whether you spray it on your clothing, whether you spray it on your hair, how your body generates heat, and in those areas how the oils will change and will dissipate into the atmosphere and evolve. I think it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, and yeah, Egyptian musk, a legend. A 10 out of 10. Once again, a 10 out of 10. I would not be dishonest in regards to a rating on a fragrance. I think that that would be dishonest. I am giving my personal opinion on these. So we'll move on because I've spoken a lot to the next one. And Maurice Rousseau, Musk Ravageur by Frederic Malle. So this one here, it says it has musk, amber, vanilla, patchouli, and sandalwood. It enhances the magnetic aspect of these with the total exclusion of floral notes. So it caused a commotion in the year 2000, Musk Ravageur, but now it's celebrated in all its sensuousness as the Sistine Chapel, as the soft amber tradition of fragrances. Now, I remember looking at the notes for Musk Ravageur and saying, I gotta have it. I gotta have it. And a lot of people, this is the bottom. This is the cap. Maurice Rousseau. A lot of people say they get like a cinnamon bun type smell. I think it's gorgeous. I think it's a manly scent. Other women possibly think it's for men only. But there's no reason why a woman, if she does not like the scent, could enjoy it. I mean, the purpose of scents is for a person to enjoy it, not to create a reaction from others and that sort of thing. But this scent here is a gentle, sweet, lovely musk, and you can really you can really get like a cinnamon type smell, sweet cinnamon, and like a bakery type smell. And that's why I think people talk about cinnamon buns and stuff like that. But there's something manly about it. There's a musk in there that's deep and spicy, and that is great and wonderful. I think it is an important part of my collection. I love it. I love Frederic Malle's fragrances, and I love what he's done to be able to bring about a group of people together, and so they could all collaborate and explore their creativity and put together through a beautiful organization these wonderful creations. And so I think Maurice Rousseau did a good job. I give him a 10 out of 10 as well. Projection and sillage are a 10 out of 10. Longevity is a 10. And in regards to being a wearable perfume, people love it. I give it a 10 as well. And so that's musk ravageur and how they differ. The depth and complexity of this is far greater. As you can see, that you can tell by the colors, and the intricacy as well, and the skill. I don't believe they should be judged together. I think every perfumer has done his best work for each perfume, and they're on their own their own category. So I believe that they both are created with utmost highest skill, passion, and integrity when it comes to the work they've done. They've both done marvelous work. This one was created in France, and this one was created in who knows where, but with the best ingredients in the world. So I just wanted to leave you with one small word of positivity. This is a longer than usual review, and I know people are kind of getting tired, so I appreciate. So this one is called the. I have a poem here, and it kind of got lost, but yep, here it is. Sorry. It says, hope is not just one single quality or promise. Hope has to do with believing beyond today, knowing there is a garden of beauty that awaits me. Hope encourages me to follow my dreams, to believe in the part of me that envisions my wholeness. Hope is trusting that what is happening will eventually make sense, or if it never does become meaningful, it will offer an opportunity for growth. Hope assures me each morning that my life is of value no matter how unsettling or disturbing my current situation is. Hope encourages my heart to not give up and nudges me when it's time to move on. Hope doesn't need words of proofs or conditions. Hope accepts mystery and offers the gift of solid trust in the unknown. Hope doesn't pretend that I'll get all at once, nor does hope deny that there will be struggles down the road. Hope tucks promises of growth and trust inside the pockets of my struggles. Rupp Joyce, 1997, Dear Heart Come Home. That's what the poem is called, the Crossroad Publishing Company. I want to thank you very much all for your time, for your patience and consideration. Love you very much all. Thank you very much for having me. Goodbye.